Rhiannon and me, welcome to this evening's programme.
First tonight, it's the subject that's dominated much of the run-up to the election, and councils across our region are also facing up to the harsh reality of cuts.
Libraries, charities and youth groups could all be affected, so today, councillors in Northampton decided to find out directly what people want with a market stall in the centre of the town. Well, Hannah Pettifer is in Northampton for us tonight. So then, Hannah, what was it all about today then?
Well, today marked the launch of Northamptonshire County Council's public consultation into which of its services had to be cut. Now, as you mentioned, all councils across the region are having to make significant savings. Now, we're here at Northamptonshire Performing Arts and Music Centre, where its funding has been reduced, just one of many services bearing the brunt of council cutbacks.
Pound a bowl. Anybody want those for a pound? Come and tell us all about your county council cuts. Cuts to your schools, cuts to your buses. What about the state of the roads? Do you want them for a pound, darling? Oh, that's right. I won't ask you again.
It may sound ridiculous, but this is the reality that all councils across the region are facing. Where are the cuts going to be made?
To have your say about services generally in the council.
Here in Northampton, the council hopes that question will be answered by the people. They need to make £100 million worth of savings. Today marked the start of their public consultation.
At the end of the day, it will have to be the council that decides. But I'd much rather be in a position of deciding once I've heard from a whole range of people across Northamptonshire than not.
But it seems confidence is low in this being the way forward.
The money, i.e. like they're spending on today, could be done for the homeless, to redo buildings for the homeless.
Walking down into town today and the holes, I can't believe the cars go up there. I'm sure there's going to be accidents.
You get things like the disruption down the bottom there where we can have a fountain. We had one in the middle here years ago. Why didn't they keep that?
With less funding in place, all of our region's councils are having to make savings. Of those we spoke to today, Essex County Council has the largest savings target in local government history, £300 million by 2012, while Cambridgeshire is aiming for £85 million in the next 5 years. Suffolk needs to make savings of around £9 million by next April, and in the same time period, Norfolk is aiming for around £25 million. It's no surprise that news of savings having to be made isn't popular. In Norfolk, Asperger East Anglia is one of many support services facing cuts.
It will leave a huge gap in the services that we provide for children with Asperger's syndrome and their families. It will be quite a devastating loss to everybody concerned. We are trying very hard not to think about what it's going to mean, the loss of it. All the staff are trying to work very hard to find funding in order for the service to continue.
The public consultation in Northamptonshire will continue for the next month. Only then will the council face the tough decision on which of its services will be scrapped. Well, now here at the Northamptonshire Music Centre, more than 3,000 children come here to learn music and drama, but their funding for next year has been cut by £50,000. Well, I'm joined now by Peter Dunkley. Can you just give me an idea, what sort of impact has that had?
Well, we're very, very grateful to all the support we've received, both from the community and particularly from our young people and their families, and they've made all the difference to us having a much smaller reduction in grant than we were going to have. So the good news is that we will have to put a very small amount of increase into our prices, and we can still very much carry on as before, and we're searching for all sorts of new alternative ways so that we can support families in need. And again, big thank you to the council for helping us with that.
OK, well, it does seem that in this case, People Power did have some effect, but now the council's hoping that more people will come forward to tell them just exactly what services are vital to them.
Indeed, Hannah, and all the musicians there, thank you very much for that. Right, moving on next tonight, the Army Major branded despicable for stealing £100,000 from military charities, most of it from a fund set up for a George Cross-winning hero who lost 2 limbs in battle.
Gambling addict Colin Morris from Suffolk was jailed for 3 years at Chelmsford Crown Court after admitting charges of theft, deception and fraud. Malcolm Robertson takes up the story.
His bravery earned him the George Cross, but bomb disposal expert Captain Peter Norton paid a heavy price, losing an arm and a leg in an explosion in Iraq in 2005. His wife Sue helped set up a charity, Pete's Arm and Leg Fund, to raise money to provide prosthetic limbs. Major Colin Morris was assigned to help the Norton family, but instead stole more than £60,000 from the fund. He's been jailed for 3 years. The fact that a war hero had been cheated like this would be greeted with revulsion, said the judge. When Peter Norton won the George Cross, the head of the British Army paid tribute to his courage.
His bravery and presence of mind at the time, which without doubt saved several other lives, maybe even many other lives. It's an extraordinary story and I salute him.
Morris, a soldier for 30 years, was based with the 6th Army Air Corps Regiment, a territorial army unit at Blenheim Camp in Bury St Edmunds. He also stole £40,000 from the Soldiers, Sailors, Airmen and Families Association. They've described it as an appalling breach of trust. While Colin Morris starts his prison sentence, there remains on the internet today evidence of how he was supposedly helping Peter Norton's charity. The judge said your conduct was despicable for breach of trust, taking monies from a fellow serviceman who'd been injured. At the same time, over 2 years, you stole monies which belonged to SAFA. You, as a serving soldier, knew exactly what that association does and the good work that it does. Again, despicable behaviour.
And because of his greed, a number of very deserving causes within the defence community lost out. And we hope that the sentence handed down to Morris will give him a chance to reflect upon the totally deplorable nature of his actions.
According to his defence team, Morris had gambling debts. He'd already been court-martialled and dismissed from the army for fraudulently cashing claims from his own regiment. Malcolm Robertson, Anglia News.
Now, the future of Southend United Football Club is still in the balance tonight after the High Court granted them a stay of execution today.
The Shrimpers are just the latest team to hit financial problems and still face a winding-up order over a disputed tax bill of nearly £200,000.
And as Lorna Ramsey now reports, next month's court date could become the most important in the club's history.
They've got 35 days and counting. The Shrimpers may have already paid a tax bill of more than £2 million 4 months ago. But today, Chairman Ron Martin was told the club has to pay a further £183,000 to the taxman by April the 14th.
Yeah, good result. The result we wanted. We just needed a bit more time to capitalise the club.
Ron Martin may have been upbeat after the hearing, but fans were none too impressed at the High Court's decision.
The revenue should be ashamed of themselves that they should be seeking to wind up our club for such a small sum of money.
If he's got the kind of money to throw at it like he has, and I shouldn't think he'll let it go, and Southend are a positive club and I'm sure we can pull through it.
I think they should try and reduce the cost of tickets at the moment because I'm a full-time student, and even £20 a ticket, they should try and increase more fans. If they've only got half the capacity of the stadium filled, they could try and fill the stadium with more promotions to try and bring in more revenue.
Lawyers for the club admitted that staff haven't been paid, but they reassured that that would be sorted out on Monday. They also said that fresh finances were coming into the club, including £800,000 from season ticket sales. Financial problems are nothing new to clubs in our region. Norwich City reported record debts of £23 million earlier this year. They are actively looking for fresh investment. Ipswich Town went into temporary administration in 2003 after paying the price of overspending in the Premier League. Luton Town went into administration in 2008. Among their punishments was a 20-point deduction. They were relegated from the Football League.
In the past, these clubs have often been supported by benefactors, the business people that might be behind them, but even they are suffering in the recession, so they haven't got such deep pockets as they've had in the past, and the whole scenario has just developed to a position where there's nowhere else for them to go.
The Shrimpers hope ambitious plans for a 22,000-seater stadium at Fossett's Farm will secure their finances in the future. But while the threat of a winding-up order still hangs over Southend United, the club and its supporters just hope more positive times are on the horizon. Lorna Ramsey, Anglia News, Southend.
And they'll be keeping their fingers crossed there. It's now